And we are going into a difficult time. And we need to talk about corporate tax cuts. We need to talk about increasing the amount of deduction you get. And when you look at what's happening across the world with the Islamic jihadists who want to do one thing, and that is kill you and me because of who we are and what we believe. Because we believe in freedom, and they don't. Especially those of us who are female. They certainly do not see any role for us whatsoever in government. They are bound and determined to destroy us. We need to listen to them in their own words, what they have to say to us. And we have to stand strong. We've made a lot of mistakes in Iraq. But we will never, ever win the war on terror if we pull out of there and just give it back, give it over. We're facing huge problems with Iran. If you want to turn Iraq over to Iran and they control the world oil interests, we are really, really in trouble. So we have to really look at how we're going to protect and defend America. And part of that involves security of this country, which involves the whole immigration problem and securing our borders. I sit on Homeland Security in the state legislature and been very involved in security issues here in Florida really since 9/11, since we established the Domestic Security Committee. So I just want to thank you all. I'll take just a couple minutes for questions, but we're going to have to go, unfortunately. And I just want to say thank you again. But I could tell such stories on this kid. I could just, he grew up with my kids, and what a special guy. It's just wonderful to have you back in Stewart.
Thank you.
I wish my kids all would come back. They're all across the country. But he's going to be a politician too, I can tell.
He is already.
Before you quit, you need to mention amnesty, and you also need to mention our troops.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we need to make sure our troops have the resources that they need. And you don't play political games with our military. You don't play political games in withholding funding to set a date to withdraw. I say a date to surrender. You can't do that. And that's exactly what the Democrats are doing. That's what Tim Mahoney did. You cannot do that. We have got to give them the wherewithal to win this war. And as far as amnesty, I talked about immigration, but you cannot give amnesty. People who came here legitimately worked very hard to get their green card, to get their citizenship. You have to come here legally. You have to work hard, play by the rules, and then you get citizenship. You know, I use the example about American Express. They know when I bought those shoes that don't quite fit my pattern. They call me up that afternoon and say, Mrs. Harrell, did you buy those? Is that what you bought? You know, is that really your card that was used? Use people like American Express. Use people like Visa. They can find people. FedEx can find them. They can find anybody. But we need to really look at how we do things. It's part of that broken bureaucracy that we have out there. So I say no to amnesty. I say no. We need to make sure our borders are safe and that we know who's here. Any other questions?
Gayle, I don't hate to show how far out of this I am, but do you have competition for the Republican primary?
Yes, I do. I have two gentlemen, very nice gentlemen, who are running against me.
You wouldn't mind beating them, would you?
We're going to take this seat. Any other quick questions? And unfortunately, we're going to have to go. But we have one more over here. Anybody else?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Gayle, don't ever forget that this country came very close to losing the Revolutionary War. If there ever was a general that probably was tempted to give up, it was George Washington. He came very, very close. And what if he had given up and the soldiers hadn't kept on under the hardship they were going through? That's just the reason we can't give up in Iraq.
No.
I think we read the same book.
Well, that comes back to bringing us back to those values on which this country was founded. And without those values that George Washington had, that Thomas Jefferson had, when they wrote those important documents, that is where we need to go first, is restore those values. And then the natural inclination after that is to stand firm, to make sure we pass those values on to our children and our grandchildren.